So last week I was talking to ChatGPT because I wanted him to recommend me some books about figuring things out in my 30s. So anyway, I thought it would be a great idea to do that. And he did give me a bunch of recommendations that was not bad. I actually liked it. And there was this one that I kind of like spotted because I thought it was cool. The name The Defining Decade. And I thought that that book, The Defining Decade, were about the 30s. So I went online. I was super happy. I found a TED Talk that was done in 2012. So I was basically 22 years old at that time. And when I looked at it, when I watched it, it was horrible because defining decade was not about you being in your 30s, it was about people being in their 20s. And how important was this decade in order to succeed in life because everything compounds. It went against everything that I was doing. I'm 35 and I still have not find what I'm good at, what I want to do in every categories of my life. She was tapping exactly in where it hurts on the fact that I wasted my 20s. But I did try to make everything intentional. When I was in my 20s, everyone knew me as the business girl, like corporate girl. They used to even give me blazers because I was always saying that I'm going to go on top of the ladder, I'm going to go into corporate, I'm going to climb that ladder. I used to say that I'm going to earn 10,000 euro dollar per month because I would be so good. People won't be able to not notice me. I had like a lot of ambition. So I was trying to get the great internship, the great corporate name. At of the age of 35, nothing went right. Like nothing. So many people in the comments were very, polarized about what she was talking about because it's true. Like at the end, when you're in your 30s, not being intentional in your 20s is not because you were always partying. Maybe you were fighting against depression. Maybe you were fighting against mental health. So obviously you could not be like winning the race when you were trying to get better yourself. What about parents? Maybe as well you had parents that you had to take care, or you had cancer yourself, or someone very close to you were going to die, and you had to, take that those 20s that were supposed to be your decade or defining decade to take care of someone else. And I also hated the determinism in what she was talking about. Let's forget the fact that we live until we are 80 years old. Now, so she pissed me off. I even talked to ChatGPT for a good hour or two in order to kind of like take out everything I had on my heart by saying that that lady is horrible. How can she write this type of things? I hate her. Basically, it was like I was talking to my dad. And I decided, to go a little bit further into that story. And I was like, okay, what else does she has to say? And I found one other podcast that she did with Mel Robbins. And that was interesting because the comment sections was not the same than the first one. The comment section was grateful when, meanwhile, me, I was pissed at the lady and I wanted to find someone in the comment being as pissed as me. But I could not find it. So I kind of took the time to like listen a little bit better what she was trying to say. And this time, his speech was different. And I definitely understood what she was saying. Being intentional in your 20s are actually important. It is true. It compounds. It compounds. You need to be intentional on who you are because, like some people started YouTube when they were in their 20s, or those tech guys who started working on a company when they were in the 20s and the 30s and 40s. It compounds in the best way possible. But when you're not intentional, it also compounds in the worst way possible because then when you're in your 30s, like me, you're trying to figure things out a little bit too late. Yet, you can still follow the playbook and when you're in your 30s, still not be happy. There are tons of people in their 30s who trying to redo their life, who trying to understand things that they couldn't understand in their 20s because at the end of the day, your 20s is really for experiment. I understand her point of being intentional, but you could also do that at any point of your life. I'm 35, taking an adult gap year in order to live a life more meaningful because you can redo your life at any part. If you're in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, you have the right and no one should give you the freaking permission to redo your life. And that's why I believe that I did not wasted my 20s. My 20s were an amazing time that sucked in a way because, like the 20s, you have a lot of like emotions. And many people says that the older they get, the happier they get. So I really want to believe that. But my 20s were amazing for the experiment that I've learned because I learned a lot. I learned what I don't want to do. I learned that corporate was not for me. I learned that the way I lived in China, I love China, I lived there for 4 years, was maybe the way I worked was not exactly for me. I learned how being skillful in executing things is important because I never did it, and now I'm 30 and I sucked at execution and I'm more strategic than anything. So I really believe that your 20s is very important to get some data in order to get better in your 30s. Anyway, oh, my, that was a very strange move that I made. My body hurts. Oh, goodbye.